Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get a real informational and inspiring event. Let me turn on my phone so I won't have no type of issues and no type of problems. Man, we got a real nice workshop that we're about to embark upon, and hoping that it really blesses a lot of people. I know it's going to bless a lot of people. So I'm going to give it about 2 minutes, 2 minutes to allow folks to get in, and I'm sharing it to a few pages. Yeah, sharing it to a few pages right now, and I encourage you to share too. Musicians, singers, performers, hey, share. This is going to be a good time of dialogue, and yeah, it's going to be good, y'all. Let me get Shannon. That's my phone playing in the background because I gotta send a special shout out to Priscilla, and I'm gonna shout her business out. I guess I could say she's my marketing director now. Pastor Judy let me borrow her, so shouts out to Pastor Judy too. And we got some big things that's planned, and this is really gonna bless a lot of people. So we got about 30 seconds. 30 seconds before we start. I see people coming on. Hey, Dion Mullins Canes. Let me say that last name. Great performer. I'm gonna keep sharing. Share. We got we'll give it 30 more seconds. Y'all share on up. All right. Got a little more time. Hope you're having a beautiful day on this Sunday. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and share the TNL page, and become a member of our group page. We got a lot of big things in store, but we're going to go ahead and get started because we're going to end exactly at 7 o'clock. But we got some great guests. So, I'll be honest with you, I was doing some yard work the other day, and I got inspired, and God told me, "Hey, man, you have a lot of knowledge, but not only do you have knowledge, you've been blessed to have some great friends. Now, I want to say friends, great family that's doing some great things in the industry that has an extensive amount of knowledge as well. And I think that it's up to us to bless each other, especially when we're dealing with ourselves as musicians, performers, and a lot of the cliquish attitudes and things of that nature. I want to dispel of that, especially in my city, especially when it's dealing with Tallahassee, because I believe that together we could do a whole lot more than we can divided. And a lot of lessons that I've learned, if I got somebody that's coming up behind me that's falling in those same ditches that I fell in, then what does that say about me? If I could prevent that, if I can help someone, and very seldom do you find someone that will, especially if you have the potential to surpass them or to be better than them. But very seldom will you find someone that will put you in contact with people or give you the necessary information that you need to advance. So, I've never been about that. I'm always about trying to help in any way that I can. And that's what tonight is all about. It's free. It's an online workshop. I admonish you to give to a Cash App, and that's only just to cover some of the production costs because we're going to continue to do this. First guest tonight is an amazing young lady that actually started. I'm not going to say her career started with us, but I was blessed to have her to be a part of Tallahassee Nights Live as a background vocalist. And Tiandria Cooper has always, been professional. I saw her learn and take the lessons that she learned through TNL and other avenues there at FAM, and she's just continued to grow. And I'm so happy that she's doing some big things. PJ Morton is a national Grammy Award winning performer, and she is a part of that album that's out right now. Go ahead and get it. The latest album is The Gospel According to PJ, and you're going to hear Tiandria Norris her voice all over it. So y'all welcome Tiandria Norris.
Hey, Doc. Hey,
T, what's up,
everybody. Hey,
sis?
hey, 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 hey. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Oh,
Awesome.
you in the studio? You
Awesome.
working?
No, I'm joking. I'm not in the studio.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
hey, so happy that you took time out of your schedule to join us. And this is what it's all about. I'm not gonna ask the normal questions everyone asks, like
Okay.
what it's like to perform with such and something. I'm getting right down to it. The topic
All
is
right.
why
Let's
haven't
go.
I made it yet? Because a lot of people ask that question. Why haven't I made it yet? Um, what did it take? I mean, let's start from FAMU, TNL, and let's go into you performing with PJ Morton. What did it take to get to that aspect? And then, as far as the art, how did it happen? How did it happen for
All right. So, I have to actually give this precursor because you can actually say that TNL jump started everything that I have going on, because before TNL, I was just okay. I grew up in church singing, and I sing with my group, and I sing in school, singing musicals, and I've always wanted to be a professional background singer. I've had like three or
you?
four things that I've always wanted to do, and being a professional background singer is one of those things. Um,
Right.
so I did get my first opportunity singing background in this capacity with TNL, and it was after I did my first secular solo on the stage. Cause growing up in the church, I'm a PK. My parents were not too happy with me performing at the Moon at the club. That's what they said. So that was actually the 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 straw that broke the camel's back for even my brothers who are musicians and have performed in various arenas. So I am grateful for that, especially to you, Doc, for trusting me and having me on TNL for so many years and being able to just learn from you. So at FAMU, I was in the concert choir and the FAMU connection. So I've always been performing, but singing background is totally different because you have to pay attention to everything around you. You have to pay attention to not just your voice, you have however many other voices you're singing with, and
Hmm.
you have to blend. Otherwise,
Hmm.
the sound that's being produced is not going to work.
Right.
And
Right.
that's something that I'm still working on now. But going through those years at TNL, I think I started singing background in what, 2009, 10,
Yeah, I
something
think
like
it's
that.
around there. I
So
know it's a good 7 8 years. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
but moving from, and I was teaching music while I
Right.
was, working with TNL. Um, After my husband and I got married, I moved to Tallahassee. I'm sorry, to New Orleans, where I currently am
Okay.
now, and I kind of was just coasting.
Mhm.
Then November of 2016, I was working at another school, and I got an Instagram message from somebody that said, "Hey, Solange is hosting background auditions. You need to go audition." So I was like, "Me go audition for Solange? Really?
Hmm.
Okay, just the I don't know, cause it's some people here that's their thing. They do the R&B vibe, and but so I went to the audition. I made it to the very last round, and I did not get that call back to come and
Mhm.
sing background for Solange. She had some great girls, and I ended up finding out, just by watching their performances, I was not going to be able to work with them because of my body type.
Okay,
And
all
this
right.
is
Let
no
me stop you
knock.
there. Let me
Yeah,
stop you there. You said that because of your body type. Let's go to moving to New Orleans. Do you think the same opportunities that you have now that you would have got them staying in Tallahassee, or was the move a part of?
absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. For what I wanted to do, or where I saw myself, and where TJ and I actually saw, our family moving. This
Hmm.
move to a city where music is just it's just embedded in the
Hmm.
in the structure. This is,
Hmm.
one of those places that's no.
Right.
I didn't see it happening for me in Tallahassee. I feel
Okay.
like I was at the very top of my game in Tallahassee,
Hmm.
and
Right.
I think moving to New Orleans um kind of gave me the kick in the pants that I needed. Like, okay,
Right.
you're not the hottest thing smoking. It's other people around here doing things, and you want to get to where they
Hmm.
are, so you might want to start paying attention.
Okay.
You know?
Now, listen,
Yeah.
listen. With and I know TJ is very accomplished trombonist and degreed and all that good stuff too. So he's a musician as well. So moving to New Orleans, um, it was a risk involved, right? It was a risk. I mean, new place, new area. Y'all got to excuse them birds, in the back. Um, but it was a new atmosphere.
Right.
How did you gather the faith, to step out, trusting in God that something was going to happen for you and your husband?
Well, it's something that was not just born overnight. My faith had been increasing as I, got older, got more into my word. I was always in church. I've been in church my whole life, but until you have that actual transformation for yourself, everything is kind of just like, oh, okay, this is what I do and this is what I believe just because somebody told me. Um, but I have to give a shout out to my bishop in Tallahassee, at Abundant Life and Restoration Ministries, Bishop Allen E.
Wow.
Stewart.
All right. Good.
He was my home away from home. While I couldn't be at my father's church in Miami, I had a church where I could go, and that helped me grow spiritually. And I think
Hmm.
that, along with my personal time with God, helped me to get my faith to where it needed to be, trusting,
Okay.
because this move was all on TJ. He
Okay.
said
All
the
right.
Lord
Well,
told him to move to New Orleans, and I said, okay.
well, when you two got married, you guys became one. So, his
Right.
vision became your vision, and vice versa. But, with God saying, that, trusting him and he'll direct your path ain't everybody else's path. So you had to have,
Uh, I ain't want to move to New Orleans.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't. No, you didn't. But trusting in that path that
Yeah.
God laid for not only you and your husband,
Right.
you got
Absolutely.
into the I would say the way of PJ Morton.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? That's where I want to kind of.
He was the MD for the Solange audition. So
Okay.
yeah, so going back to that, he would be one reaching out to whomever made it to the next callbacks. And
Hmm.
so when I didn't get the call back for Solange, um he asked me if I was available to do some spot dates. And I think I did Philly with him. And at this point, it was a completely different band or different setup than
Hmm.
what he has now. But
Hmm.
I think I might have been the only background singer at the time. And I did Detroit, Philly, and one other place. And I've been singing with him since then.
Wow. Wow. And a lot of people don't know, well, musicians and my connoisseurs know his background as far as a producer. I mean, he even said when I had the opportunity to talk to him and interview him on a radio station that he actually loves being a producer more than, being
Mm-hmm.
on being in the forefront.
Yeah.
But being in that situation, how important was it for you to be prepared for that opportunity and not wait for the opportunity, get the call back? Now you got to prepare all that you learned, through college, through whether it be TNL, through whether it be other gigs. It's all learning. It's all, being stored. How important was it to be prepared for that opportunity?
Get right or get left. And as cutthroat as that makes might sound, that's something that fam you prepared me for.
Mm,
And you know, being within the essential theater and the music department, it really just prepared me for the you can be replaced. You are not
mm,
irreplaceable. There is somebody
mm.
with half your skill and more commitment, more drive, more tenacity, and you can be replaced. I've
Wow.
actually I've had to sit down, in concert and the family connection before, because there was a misunderstanding between the director and I, and at that point, I thought, I was right, and I
Mm.
tried to. I said something, and I should not have. I should have waited. I should have been more tactful, and for that, I had to sit out. And that I'm very very good with learning lessons. I just need one. I don't. You don't have to.
Oh
You
man,
don't have to teach me the lesson but one time. But yeah, get right or get left.
I
Like
like
if
that.
you're not
Like
ready,
that.
somebody else is. Yeah.
Oh man, shouts out to Precious Tankard, and I believe the guy's name was Alvin. I believe it went off, but he's all the way from Rhode Island checking in. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Oh
She
yeah.
said, "Hey, she said, stay ready instead of getting ready." And I think that's so important for not only singers but musicians, because you never ever know when you can get that call. I
Right.
was elated when I mentioned your name to PJ, and the first thing out of his mouth was T. Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl. That's my right hand. It's like, man, if I'm anywhere, more than likely, he's like, when it comes to if I need a need a strong soprano, he was like, more than likely, Tiandria is going to be with me. That's what he's quote. Now to have someone who's worked with Kirk Franklin, oh man, I don't even want to start naming all the names. There's just so
Yeah.
many who admire you or your voice or your gift in that way. What does it mean to you?
Man, I have, and we were talking about this backstage. I was a PJ fan before I even started singing with him. And the thing about manifestation, I have to say this: when I
Mm-hmm,
first moved here, um, PJ had just come back to New Orleans because he was in LA, and
mm-hmm,
my husband was playing with this big band at the time, and I went to go see them play, and he was having a welcome back jam session,
mm-hmm,
and I was standing there in awe. It was him, Brian Cockrum, and Ed Clark. That was it.
mm,
And
mm.
they were blazing. I'm standing there looking at everybody like, y'all don't hear this man. He is smoking
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
And then the next thing I know, I'm singing background for him. So, I mean,
Boy,
stay ready so you don't have to get ready because the opportunity came just that fast. And I'm just so
wow.
grateful to God that I was in my right mind and in a space to, be able to leap on it
Right, right.
and get to it.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. TNL Tallahassee Nights Live. A lot of people kind of, well, we've been blessed to sustain for 14 years and doing what we're doing here in the city with a proclamation, all that good stuff, what have you. Those are blessings from God. But my thing is, I believe that TNL is a platform for everybody. I don't want anyone to think that TNL is just so secluded. We only have these certain amount of artists. So this is why I'm doing this, just to open up more to allow artists like yourself to come and be on a platform that gives you five-star production or lighting or a full 13-piece band. Having those experiences, whether they're good or bad, they can't. You weren't new to that stage when you
Right, right,
got
right,
in there
right.
with PJ. Okay, you've conducted, you've led background rehearsals, you've arranged music before. How important is it to gather all those lessons now, while you're funneling through your journey of music?
Everything ties back into what I already said. And even if I don't have to use it,
I got
I
it.
still
Yeah,
have it. I got it. So it's
yeah,
something that I could just keep in my bag.
yeah.
It's in my arsenal. So if at any point in time P's like, hey, y'all run that background stuff, or we just did a taping for a TV show, and the arrangement that we learned is not the arrangement that we recorded. It was in a completely different key. Um,
Mm,
the we didn't do it wasn't formatted the same way, so we can't like you can't be stuck on one way of doing things because you're gonna ask yourself out. Like and when I say
mm,
you, I'm talking about Tiandria. I always, always,
mm-hmm,
always talk to myself first because I'm the one that's navigating this, and I gotta make sure that I'm hearing God the right way. Like Tiandra, don't get in your own way and not allow God to make room and move things and move you in the way that He wants you to go. Cause
mm,
like I said, how this all manifested was not me at all,
mm,
not in
mm,
the slightest. and
Yeah.
he gave us the gifts and they come without repentance. So it would just be like, I feel like it would be a slap in the face if we just sat here and I'll just wait until my time comes, and when my time comes I'll take the stage.
My good. Oh
You
my
know,
goodness. And that's
that's a dangerous
that's
place to be in.
no, no, and that's not something that I want for not only my TNL family. I mean, I'm talking any musician in Tallahassee. Doc is
Right.
here. I'm approachable, and time waits for no one. So when we find ourselves kind of continuously doing some of the same things and not growing, that's the part, and not growing. You'll be 50, 60, 70 years
Yeah,
old,
in the same
still doing
place.
gigs, in the same place. So you had to actually step out on faith, utilize those lessons that you learned over the years, let God direct you because you didn't want to go, but marrying TJ, all that was in the plan. And
Yep.
now, I mean, I can see because how he sounded, and I'm no prophet, God knows, but talking to PJ how he sounded, I can see him doing this. Pretty soon it's gonna be a song featured, a duet with PJ and Tiandra Norris. And then
Oh
when that
man.
happens, it's over. JoJo who?
Wow.
That's what I'm talking.
Wow.
you
Wow.
know,
Wow.
I mean, because you do her part, the song "Say So." You do that on the road with him, right?
Mm-mm.
Who's that,
I'm so
TJ?
sorry. I am
Oh,
so embarrassed. Let me hide
hey,
this.
you only got about 100 people looking, but no, but you do the part of JoJo when you're out, right?
Yeah. I do, when we do Built for Love, I do Jasmine's part, and when we do Say So, I do JoJo's part.
Wow, wow. Well,
Yeah. Very,
Tiandra,
very difficult songs.
yeah.
Yes.
Mm, man, who is this? I don't know if I'm pronouncing the wrong name right. Kibi, BB Brown,
Yeah,
say Tiandra
Kibi.
Norris. Yeah, so you're gonna be empty when you leave here, and the world is gonna be a better fit for it.
Oh,
You know,
I
you just
received
don't
that, sis.
just pour out. And I can, hey, when that single come out now, I'm telling you, y'all hearing me now on this free artist workshop, it's coming, it's coming. So
Now,
T,
Doc knows of, beyond anybody else. Doc knows Tiandria does not want to be a solo artist. Tiandria is fine. Yes, I am speaking about myself in the third person. Tiandria is perfectly fine being in the background. I actually enjoy background. I love
yeah,
background. But like you said, being prepared and just doing what God tells me to do. Because at the end of the day, you know,
yeah.
it's what He wants
You
and
know
what He
somebody,
says anyway.
you know another superstar who just said that only a few days ago to about 30 million people, the exact same thing with what you just said, was
Who?
Brandy. She said she'd rather sing background, and
Oh
anybody who watched the
man.
verses can back
Yeah,
me on
man,
this. She said she'd
that
rather
verses was. Woo!
come on. She said she'd rather sing background than being out in the forefront. But God exalted her just like He's going to exalt you, for your humility, and you definitely got what it takes to be out in the forefront. And I can't wait to see you
Man,
go on to some bigger things, T. So keep rising, okay?
thank you, Doc.
Hey man, no problem. Is there anything that you want to say? Because we're gonna get the next guest on to people that are viewing. Man, we got people from all over chiming in, and man, thank y'all so much for tuning in. D. Jerome Garrett just said this is good. Thank you so much, sir. Another phenomenal singer. Um,
Just follow
is
me on social media. I am just getting back into the social media thing.
okay.
But I'm putting out more content. It'll just just be more of me singing, family
Yeah.
stuff,
Hmm.
and this is a great platform, Doc. I was so honored to be able to just share a little bit.
Oh
Cause
man.
I've in no way made it, but
No,
I
no.
got a couple, things I can
Yeah,
share.
yeah. We always, when you get to one level, you're always aspiring to get to another level, and
Right,
nothing
right, right, right.
nothing is wrong with that. And the topic of this is why haven't I made it yet? Making it is basically in the eye of the beholder. What goals
Mm-hmm.
have you set for yourself? And once you reach that goal, you're trying to make it to
What's the
another.
next one? Yep,
What's the next one?
exactly.
So my idea of making it may not be the same thing to someone else. They may think that I ain't doing nothing, but you don't know where I
Right.
came
You
from. You
don't
don't know where I started
exactly.
from,
You
and
don't know what the
and
plan is.
Yeah,
You don't know what
yeah,
the plan
yeah.
is.
So, T, tell the hubby we said hello. I'm saying we, like, we one big family. Everybody that's watching, tell them we said hello and kiss the baby for us. And we can't
He's
wait for that
watching. They're
single.
watching.
Oh, okay. Well, we can't wait for that single to come out. I know PJ is gonna produce it. He might be watching it, or he might watch this later. He gonna produce that single on you. I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it to him so he can see.
Send it to him. PJ, hey, this your boy Doc. We just talked last week. Gonna produce that single.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
T
yeah.
Tiandra, thank you so much.
Thank you. Love y'all.
Love you too now. All right, the next guest, y'all, I'm going to bring on right now. So you heard from Tiandria, who said she has no problem singing background, started singing background with TNL, but has moved on to do some great things nationally with PJ Morton, and I'm seeing some more great things from her that will be happening soon. But now let's go to let's switch it up a little bit. Sound production. How important is production when it comes to you being an artist? Well, we got a guest that's coming on that is a sound engineer, a road manager as well. He's managed artists. He's worked with people like Lil Kim. He's currently, the sound man for Tank, Keith Sweat, Joe, 112, Music Soul Child, Escape. Genuine. I can't. He did a stint with Fantasia as the the front of house guy. You got to be on your thing if you're doing the front house for these major artists, because if that sound engineer that's running that front of house is not having a good day, that can ruin six-figure concert easily. But this guy's been doing it for a while, and I'm so honored to bring on Mr. Tobias Tanker.
Doc
Hey,
D.
what's up, bro?
Hey man, it's good to see you, Doc.
Hey, man, good to see you too, man. Now, hold up. I'm gonna start, I ain't asking them normal questions like, okay, what it is to work with such, what the word, but you just got through from engineering the
Mm-hmm.
versus battle between Brandy and Monica at Tyler Perry Studios, viewed by over 30 million hits.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, how does it feel for someone to trust you to run sound on something on that magnitude? Now, I know it's happened several times before, but just tell me, how does it feel when you get these calls from these major artists to run their sound?
Man, for one, it's always humbling. For one, you gotta be humble in all of this, and you know, depend on God for just the cause. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's a doggy dog world. Might as well say that, because you have people that hate on you, have people that want your position and out here. So I'm thankful for the cause. I'm thankful for the artists I work with and have worked with. You know what I'm saying? For their team to always allow me and trust me to handle their sound, their production, putting together their riders at times and stuff like that. So I mean, but it's humility, being humble is the top for me.
Okay, let me ask you this: when you're running sound, okay, I want to know what when you see an artist opening act or artist come in and they're on stage setting up, what's one of the things that you see that immediately tells you, oh, that's a novice, that's somebody who just starting out, as opposed to that's a professional musician there, that's a professional MD.
Well, when professionals come in, they know what they want. They know how they want their sound to be. For us, if it's a keyboard player, knowing your levels, knowing your blends. If you're running sub mixing through keyboard, you know how to set each keyboard volumes on the mixer. So you got to know your gear for one, and then you come in, and because I take it like this. You have so many musicians that come in that they see other musicians have this type of gear and they just want it. It's just a wish list, but they come in, they don't know how to work the gear, and they're
Oh,
always questioning. And then you have those guys. There's nothing wrong with wanting that gear, but take the time to study the gear before you even use the gear. On a pro. Man, so when you have some of the professionals come in, for one, most of them have their own techs, and it depends on the level that you are. And you're not depending on the actual the tech or the sound engineer or the backline person to know the sound that you want, know how to route your setup. You know what I mean? You have to know how to set your own gear up. You know, then you get mad when somebody set it up. It's not set up like you want it, and then you don't know how to set it up. You'll walk away because you don't know how to set it up. So why you asking this shit, you don't know how to set it up? I'm sorry.
Hey, be you. It's all right. This ain't the gospel station. It's all right. I understand. For those who don't know what a rider is basically like what you said. To some, it's a wish list, but to others, it's basically, hey, this is what I'm comfortable with playing, and you don't have to travel with that. So, hey, I normally play. I use the motif, or I use the phantom, or I use this, whatever. You put all of that on the rider, and if it's agreed to or whatever, it's there for you to use. So what you're saying is sometimes musicians may just because they see somebody else playing something,
Yep.
they'll put it on there and don't know how to work it.
They don't know how to work it. They get there, you know, we have guys come in there and that's for keyboards, don't know the sounds, don't know how to change sounds, and you know and then you have the other keyboard player have to come in and show them, you know,
and all of that, and told as a front of house guy, and being a manager at times too on the road. You've been in that role too. That's time consuming. When you're dealing with sound checks, it's very. I feel as though that kind of sets the mood sometimes for the night, because it can get tense. It can get okay. It can be prolonged. This person can't get their amp right. They can't get this. This and that. This and that. I mean, how important is having a good sound check? How does that lay the plateau for a great performance?
It starts everything. For one, when you come in there, you know, you don't have for one, when you come in there, knowing your gear, it speeds along the time for sound check, because everybody know their role. They know their place. I come in, set up you have to come in. If you don't know the gear, let's start right there. If you don't know the gear, you have questions, get in there a little earlier. Hey, what time, the back line to be up so I can come in there, listen
Right.
to the sound and set up my stuff, do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to use that gear, take the time to get in there and study the gear. If you have studied it before you got there, do that. But then take the time to get in there a little earlier to set up your sounds, set up your blends and things like that. And then if the artist come in there and you still trying to find some stuff, and then because the band has their time, because it's a time for the tech crew to come in, and then the band come in, right. And then we get down up, getting out everything set up for them, and their ears are whether it's a wedge. Make sure the band's company, then the artists come in, and then if the band is still doing certain things, and then it's one guy, a couple of guys still trying to figure out some stuff, or they're complaining or asking for different things because they're ignorant to their gear. It holds up the artists, and then the artists come in. Then I have to tell them, hey, we're not ready for you yet. Give us a few minutes. So I'm trying to save them, from the artists seeing them not knowing their own stuff. You know what I mean?
Man. Because I mean, and these things, once you're on that level, it's no game. It can be cutthroat. Have you ever seen somebody release? You don't have to say who, or what, but have you ever seen somebody released either at a gig, after a gig, or just because they weren't prepared, didn't know their stuff, or didn't wear the right wardrobe, what was asked of them? Any of those reasons?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Hey, it ain't number about 100 people looking. You ain't got to tell me who, but tell me. I need to know.
I'm gonna start from not even on before I get to where what that point, the shows or the artists I work with that happened. I remember, let's see, a great artist was in another room in the same building in Cleveland. Anita Baker fired her entire sound crew doing sound check.
Hold up. Hold up. At the venue?
At the venue was doing sound check. She fired her whole entire crew, and so they had to wait a few hours before other engineers, they had to call somebody else in. to come in to mix the show, to do the stuff. So that happened, the day of. So that was crazy to me. It's like, but okay, cool. That was that artist. But I've been in position, being a production manager. I've had to slide back in the day, the Greyhound. Not I'm talking about way back. The Greyhound bus ticket under someone's door, or either a flight ticket under someone's hotel door, and we've changed our lobby time that that we leave before we tell that person that we're leaving.
Wait. So the crew's gone and they still there.
They still there. They still there.
But this is what happens when you come up and you continue to make I'm not going to say mistakes, because when you do it repetitively, you don't come prepared. You you don't wear what you're supposed to wear. You don't all these kind of things. These artists, when you're out there in the game, it's no chances.
But for one, then you have you can deal with the attitudes, the arrogancy, being arrogant, and and when you're around the crew, the artists and whatever, you have to be respectful to them as well. You respect your crew, and you have those incidents that come about that people don't appreciate that, and so they speak out, they talk negative, and then they feel that they are the biggest person in the group. So, and when it gets to the artists, like they will say, hey, let them, we not tolerating that, and you can cover it so long, hey, we see how this day go. Is there anything we can do to help you out? And then it's like, after that, man, we just have to let it go, let them go.
Man, Tobe, tell me this right here. What are some of your pet peeves as being a sound engineer working with vocalists? We'll switch from musicians to vocalists. Maybe it might be mic technique. Maybe it might be how they hold the mic, or walking in front of monitors, saying that it's not supposed to squeak if you know what you're doing. Putting the mic right to the speakers. What are some of your pet peeves as far as running front of house?
Well, for one, singers, that like to cut the mic, like to hold the top of the microphone. That is absolutely a no. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't do that. Because it changed the dynamics, the sound of that microphone to like a real cheap toy mic. You spend all that money on a great microphone, and then you just turn it into a toy mic by just gripping the ball of the microphone. And as far as when singers, you got to hold it in a close proximity of your mouth, so that you can, so you can get your vocals in there great. And then there's a little play in there for the singer and the engineer too. You got to be able to, the engineer have to be able to EQ the vocal, the microphone where they're comfortable, they can hear with the side fill, with its wedges. But at the same time, you shouldn't put the microphone face down in the monitor. You know what I'm saying? We check it so that we check it that for it so it don't feedback. But when you're singing, you can't put the microphone. That's not, you don't do that. That's garbage.
That's garbage. What is your feelings towards, and we have a few more minutes before we bring on the next guest. What are your feelings towards in-ears versus monitors when it comes to musicians and singers?
Well, today, in-ears is the way to go. For one, you have a clean stage, for its volume, that reduces the sound on stage so that it's not real loud, because a lot of times, you get your amps, guitar amps, stuff like that, this already have projecting sound. So it just give you a quieter stage, give you more control in front of the house, give you more control on the stage, because a lot of artists don't like to wear ears. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't, but so we give that room that we can get the artists what they need in the side fills, wedges, and that's a great thing. But in-ears is great. But at the same time, as for an engineer, you still have to know how to be able to create a good sound for whoever. If it's all wedges on the stage, know how to get to set up that sound for them that everybody's comfortable. Whether A couple of artists I work with, they like the stage loud as hell. I mean, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, it's they like it loud and they like it front of house PA loud. The main. I want my side fields to sound like the main speakers. Okay, cool. So therefore, you have to make sure that you EQ it well enough that it sounds great to them, no feedback, and they get that feel. They want to feel on stage, the record per se. They want to hear the vocal sitting on top of the music, and then everything, the music sitting just right where they can hear the chords, the auxiliaries, and the vocals. But it's also understanding how to set your levels and what should the best way to do that.
Right. Okay. Man, I thank you so much, man, for dropping that knowledge, man. We know it's so much more that because we're gonna do this again, man. I'm already getting messages and people saying it's good stuff. Shouts out to Tone. Tone said, man, thank you for the lesson. That was yeah. He said, do not cuff the mic. Thank you, Tone.
Yeah, don't do the creepy stuff.
But when it comes to if it was one thing that you could tell vocalists out there, I mean, and you've done sound for who's who for right now, right now. I mean, come on, everybody. I mean, Tank, who's one of the premier R&B singers. You know what I'm saying? What can you tell those artists out there who are, striving or wondering why haven't I made it yet?
Man, you have to be yourself. Don't try to mimic everybody. It's good to learn the vocals or list everything that's out there, because that's how we learn. We learn by listening to other artists. But create your own sound, your own vibe, and then learn the business. Before just trying to get in there to sing, because that is everything right now today. Because it's hard to get in the industry. Everybody, YouTube, social media greats, and don't even have a record out. You know what I mean? So I think learning that business is everything right now.
Okay. Well, hey, man, if y'all want to follow Tobe, man, we got his information right there on the screen. You can follow him and find out more about him. Maybe inbox him some questions. He may find time to do it. Once we get past this pandemic, I know you stay on the road pretty much the whole year.
Man, yeah, and this pandemic has put a halt to all of that. So I've been at the house mixing, remote streaming mostly.
Right. But can't too many people say that that last hit during this pandemic was viewed by over 30 million people, and you running the front house board there at Tyler Perry Studios with Brandy and Monica. That's a little bit of that is grace too, man. I mean, I know you got the professional aspect, you know what you're doing, but God is definitely making provisions for you, man. And I'm glad to know you, man.
Most definitely. Likewise, bro. Likewise.
All right, thank you so much, man. We'll talk again soon. Coming up, our next guest, final guest for tonight, and man, thank you for all the messages, y'all. We definitely gonna do this again and keep this up. But the final guest for tonight, and I want to kind of touch on making it. How did it happen? This guy has played for some of the legends in the industry, and from Anthony Hamilton to Prince, the last saxophonist to play with Prince. He's played with Bette Midler, CeeLo Green, Lionel Richie. It's who's who, and this guy started. I'm not gonna say started, but I'll let him tell it. Playing with Tallahassee Nights Live as well, and also a student here in Tallahassee, Florida, but he's going on to do so many great things, man, and has an album out. Single is called Lover. So we're going to touch on a lot of things. I like to bring on saxophonist Adrian Crutchfield.
What's up?
Man, what's going on, big time?
Man, you big time, man. I'm just out here trying to live, man. Just out here making music.
I see you got the purple and black in the background, man. And I'm not going to ask the obvious questions, but I got to touch on this quick before we go to the other thing, man. What did the experience and the connection with Prince mean to you?
Everything, man. you know, I want to go back to what they were saying earlier. Like, man, I didn't want to be. Even when I was in Tallahassee, you know this. I didn't want to be a front man. I like being in the background. Uh, I like being a side man, like a Maceo Parker to somebody's James Brown. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted to do. You used to force me to take the front line and play the songs on, you know, with the chapter and with Tallahassee Nights Live. And it was super uncomfortable for me, but I was so glad that you put that in me, because it showed it was training for me really, and how to be a front man and how to be an artist. And with Prince, you know, I kind of continued in that realm of, I just want to be the side man to your I want to be the Maceo to your James Brown. That's exactly one of our last conversations, was me telling him that, because he was asking me, we were recording this record that didn't come out, but he asked me then, you know, why aren't you putting out more music on your own? And I told him, you know, I'm cool being the Maceo to your James. And he went off on me, and he made sure that I understood the importance of being my own artist. And that was, like I said, that was one of the last conversations we ever had, face to face. And so I took that to heart, and that's what I've been doing ever since, you know, being an artist. And I learned everything from him. I mean, I learned so much from him about being an artist and being responsible. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you definitely took his words to heart, because having a single right now that's playing on, I believe, Waterworks on Sirius XM. You're playing on XM, man, and the name of the single is Lover. Is that it?
Lover is playing on Watercolors, and some other stations.
I said Waterworks.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's playing on other stations. It's playing on all the stations. Really, I'm blessed, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah. You say it's called it's
Watercolors.
I don't know why I'm thinking Waterworks. You remember the club here in Tallahassee, but no, that's amazing. Yeah, whose station is that? Is that Dave Cause?
Dave Cause has a show on Watercolors. A lot of artists have shows on Watercolors, but yeah, Watercolors is is like the premier smooth jazz station on Sirius XM.
So that means, you know, I won't get in your business, but I know how this thing works now. That means you getting them, you getting them sound scan checks. That means you getting them checks on that series, right?
Hey man, you know, it's listen, somebody got to pay these bills around here, so I'm glad they are.
Okay, tell the listeners. I mean, listeners. I'm thinking radio wise, the viewers, how to clear a song. You've charted on billboards several times, and how to make the song make money for you. How to make it work for you. You know, registering SoundScan. You know, kind of, you know, in a brief way. Can you tell us about that?
I'll try. Brief is hard, but in this industry, a lot of times as artists, what we forget is that you can't be 100% artist or 100% businessman. Or businesswoman. You have to be both. And so as artists, you know, a lot of times when I was making my own music, I was very stubborn. I was like, I want to do it this way, and I'm the artist, and I want to express myself this way, and I don't care what everybody else thinks. I'm expressing myself. But we can't really do that if we want to see real success in this industry. We have to cater to the listeners. We have to cater to the business side. So yeah, you want to register all of your work. You want to protect yourself. That's first. And then you want to do the research and find out where stuff that sounds like what you're playing is playing. You know, there's so many avenues out here that people aren't looking at. Everybody wants to get on the radio, and that's cool. But what does that mean? You know, the radio outside of Sirius XM, really the radio is paying, and streaming, you know, through the different streaming devices, that's paying pennies, you know, but placements and licensing, you know, getting your show, getting your song on a commercial or a TV show or anything like that, that's paying. You know what I'm saying? And people may not ever know your name, but they'll know your music. You know? And then let's say you want to do something further than that, which I understand and I'm sympathetic to. If you want to go further than that, then use that to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to make hit albums and hit records, then use licensing songs, use songs on commercials and things to get that check, so you can pay to have that song produced that you really want to do. I think that's the thing that most artists miss, is they see the end game, but they don't want to do the work to get there. They just want to do what they want to do. And that's where we fall short as artists. They see this, they see the
Adrian Crutchfield, man. I mean, hometown in Charlotte, that's Anthony Hamilton too, right?
Yeah, yeah. Anthony was my barber growing up.
Anthony was your barber.
Anthony Hamilton was my barber when I was a kid, man. That's how I know Ant.
Wow, wow. So playing with him, okay, we could pretty much figure out the story there. Playing with CeeLo, you know, I know that story. I know the reviewers haven't, but I want to know, when you're dealing with legends, and not belittling in any of them, but when I think about Lionel Richie, who co-wrote "We Are the World" with Michael Jackson, I mean, Lionel, from the Commodores to all of this, I mean, he's one of the music industry's legends. I mean, right? He's on that that music Mount Rushmore. You know, how did you get that? I don't want to say gig, but how did you get that placement with Lionel Richie?
Man, you know, I was actually I was living in I moved to Los Angeles for a little while, and I was there, and one of my friends called and said, Lionel Richie is
hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. Tell me if that move was that just I just need to go to LA. I mean, did you have somewhere to stay? Did you thinking I need to make a move?
I went there for a gig playing with an artist named Tony Clifton as a comedy act thing, but I knew I wanted to move there because at that time, people talk about being the big fish in the small pond, right? Mm-hmm. I had already kind of established myself in Charlotte. I had established myself in Tallahassee. I had established myself in every city that I lived in. I had established myself as the guy, as the saxophone guy. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if I wanted to further my career or do something bigger, I needed to go somewhere. What I see happening a lot of times, especially with hometown heroes, if you will, is that, we get considered as local artists in our hometowns, and we're not treated with the same respect that the exotic artists, the people coming in, are treated with. And so I saw that, and I said, I don't want to be treated like a local artist. Even though I live here, I'm not a local artist. I'm not playing the local gig. I'm not playing every week. I'm not doing, my show, it costs money to get to my show. And I don't want to give people an excuse to say, well, why do I want to pay $20 to go see this guy when I can go see him every week at the restaurant for a $5 cover? You know what I'm saying? So, I decided, I decided to move. I moved to LA, which is one of the biggest challenges for an artist is moving to LA. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. LA, New York, and so I moved to LA. I did this gig, with Tony Clifton. And in the meantime, I was just kind of hanging out and doing recording sessions. And I got a call and it said, Lionel Richie is looking for a multicultural, quote unquote, multicultural, multi-instrumental sax guy with lots of hair who can sing. And that was very, 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 very particular, very, very, very in the box. And I was like, man, I don't know how many other guys are going to be that fit that description. I better go and try out. And ironically, I had to fly the day of the audition. I was flying to New York to do another show. So I rescheduled my flight just so I could make the audition. And I went in for the audition and I did, a video. Lionel wasn't there, but I did a video audition. And I was there with Chucky Booker. Chucky Booker is Lionel Richie's MD. But Chucky is also an artist. If you don't know, Chucky is,
why you want to play the games on me?
Yeah. So, Chucky and I were hanging out and, there were a few people there that looked like me. It was wild. But I did the audition and the tour manager, actually, as I was getting my stuff, I had my luggage with me, Doc. I had all my stuff with me because I was going straight to the airport. And the tour manager, I went outside and I was waiting for a cab and the tour manager came outside and he said, why do you have all this stuff? And I said, I got to go to a gig in New York. He said, wow. He said, well, look, what time is your flight? And I told him, he said, I'll drive you. And I got in the car and he said, unofficially, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but we got a gig on next Thursday. How long are you going to be in New York? Because you're going to have the gig. And I said, I'll be back on Wednesday. So So I got the gig, and that's how I started with Lionel Richie, and the rest is history, man.
All right, on to Bette Midler, and we're going somewhere with this because I want to
Yeah.
show other musicians out there how once you're in the loop, you know, and your name circulates, the calls will come. So you just have to be prepared. On to
Yeah.
Bette Midler, who you know, Wind Beneath My Wings, phenomenal actress. I mean, she's a, you know, she's a legend as well. Was that they heard about you or what?
So I got the call about the Bette Midler gig from another horn player friend, and I apparently, so I started playing with Bette Midler after Prince, or in the middle of my Prince time, around
Now,
2015.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this, and because I, you know, I like kind of, you know, politely cut off because I want to get to the good stuff.
Come on, let's get it.
Did Prince frown on musicians playing other gigs or like playing with
Yes.
everybody?
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly why I did it.
Wow. So and because you sometimes you see musicians that you like,
Yeah.
man, you play with this, you play with like 10, 12 different people.
Yeah. So at the time, around 2015, Prince was focusing on a group that he had put together called Third Eye Girl, which is all girls. You know, it's all feminine, you know, women power.
Right.
And it was dope. I mean, it was a rock band, like a real rock band, all beautiful women, all powerful women. It was a powerful image. And he was the lead, you know, he was the front. But at the time, you know, he also had the New Power Generation with the MPG Horns, which is my group, right? And he kept promising us these shows, and then he would go and do them with Third Eye Girl, which I don't blame him because financially it made more sense. Why take a 20-piece orchestra that you got to pay when you could take a 4-piece band, you know, and do the same show? So from a business standpoint, I couldn't be mad at the brother, but I got tired of the promises of us doing these shows, and then we'd be sitting at home, and then I turn on my TV, and Third Eye Girl was playing the show that he told us. You know, he would always say, "Clear your schedule for the next 6 months. We're about to go do this big thing," and then at the time they would be doing it. So I just decided, you know, I'm going to look for other opportunities, and I got a call that Bette Midler had seen our performance on Arsenio Hall and with Prince, and she wanted that kind of horn section, a smaller version of it, but she wanted the choreography, the dancing, and the high energy. And so some friends of mine called and said, "Hey, do you want to do the Bette Midler gig?" I said, "Yeah." So I went in, and they made me the director of the horn section for Bette Midler, and so I held the auditions for the horns. And
so you held the auditions for them.
Well, I didn't know that until I got there. I thought I was going to audition. And when I got there, they're like, "Okay, so you're going to hold the audition for the horns and blah, blah, blah." And there are like 50 people there to audition. And I thought I was just going to be one of the people auditioning, but turned out I was just like the manager of the horn section. And so, yeah, it was really interesting. It was really cool, man. But that was great. It was a different type of show. It was more theater than anything. And that was different than the Prince show, because the Prince show is different every time you play it. With a theater stage production show, they do it pretty much identical. It's the same thing every day. So it was, you know, it's all about that training, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and you have the extensive training as well. You graduated from where?
Florida State.
All right, one time for Florida State. So having that knowledge and the experience, and we talked about this too. We know that there's several saxophone players that may be better chops, better what you know. Just like musicians that's listening or that's watching now, singers that's watching now. You know, you wonder why you're not getting these opportunities. What made Adrian Crutchfield stick out, knowing that it's other saxophonists out there who may be better? You even acknowledge.
I acknowledge, man. I have so many. I have so many heroes in this game, man, and it's sad because I see them sitting at home, but I know they're phenomenal. But
so
why is that? Well, what makes the Adrian Crutchfield brand and other brands like it stick and make people want it? It's all about your brand. It's just about your branding and how you treat your brand. If you treat your brand like a local artist, that's what everybody else is going to treat you as. What that means is you have to sacrifice the idea of having consistent work. If it means, you know, yeah, sure, you might have that gig that's every week at the hotel or every week at the bar, but that's sacrificing your branding as an artist. So you need to make that sacrifice in the other way and say, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to build my brand so that when certain artists, like even in Charlotte, I don't play in Charlotte very often. I play like maybe as Adrian Crutchfield, as the Adrian Crutchfield show. You get that here in Charlotte maybe twice a year. That's it. Other than that, the only time you see me playing a show in Charlotte or in the surrounding area is when I'm playing with someone like Anthony Hamilton or Jeff Lorber or Brian Culbertson or somebody like that. When they come to town, they ask for me as one of their band members because they know that that's going to build their brand. You know, there's nothing like, for example, you know, when I was with Lionel Richie, because of my experience with Prince and also with Bette Midler, because of my experience with Prince, they knew that I would bring a certain amount of the Prince and Lionel Richie fans out to the Bette Midler show, or a certain amount of the Bette Midler fans out to the Lionel Richie show. And this was evident because I'd be doing a Bette Midler show and there would be people in the audience with signs with the Prince symbol and my name, which only added to the value of my brand, which made them say, okay, you know, Adrian may have brought 100 people, 100 tickets to this show. People may have bought tickets just to come and support Adrian, you know? And so that's not to be arrogant, but that's just to say that you have to invest in your brand. And by investing in your brand, that means making certain sacrifices so that your brand isn't watered down, or people don't say, well, why am I going to pay $20 to come see this guy when I can go to the hotel or go to the jam session and see him every week? You know? Ooh, so that's what you have to do. That's what it's all about.
Well, man, we're about 3 minutes over. Folks are just chiming in, man, and we're definitely going to do this again. Precious, thank you so much. You just said, man, just an inspiration, and can't wait for the next. Adrian, man, you've done so much, man, and in the time we have left, what would you say to those aspiring musicians out there, vocalists? But we touched on the vocalists, the musicians. Since you're a musician, you play with some of the best. You know, what gets you in that loop? What gets you in that loop?
You have to be likable, number one.
Oh, which man, means, hey, you about to make this thing go another 10 minutes now. We can't.
I got time, man. Listen,
you gotta
don't get me preaching in here, man. You got to be likable. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You could be the best at your craft and be at home because nobody wants to deal with you or your arrogance.
Oh, man.
That's just the reality of it. Is like, you got to understand that we live in a world where it's still there. It's dying a little bit, but it's the touring world. And in the touring world, you got to understand that you have to be on the road with people for months at a time, which means they have to be tolerant of you and you have to be tolerant of them. They have to want to be around you. They got to want to be around you. And if they don't want to be around you, there's somebody else that they do want to be around. I've seen plenty of times where somebody got the gig and they weren't anywhere near the caliber of the rest of the band, but everybody loves them. They bring a great energy. They bring a great energy to the room. They bring a great energy to the tour. They're beautiful individuals, beautiful souls. I've played with musicians like that. I got musicians in certain parts of the country that I won't name them, but they're nowhere near the caliber of musicians that I play with on a normal basis. But I call them every time because I love their energy. I love the beautiful souls that they are, and they feed my soul, and we bounce off of each other, and it's just good. And so you have to be likable. Of course you have to know your craft. Of course you do, but that's only part of it. And so humble yourself and allow yourself to learn from everyone else. Allow yourself to take criticism and just kind of just go with the flow instead of being that guy that has to be right or has to get the last word all the time. Or that girl.
Stop right there, man. See, man, hey, the next one we'll post soon, but we're gonna touch on just the whole relationship aspect and networking of musicians and singers. And because I can attest to what you just said as far as being likable. Yes, you got to have that talent. Yes, you got to know what you're doing, but no one wants to be around someone who, when they come in the room, the energy goes just like this. No one wants to be around that, because I've been in situations, even with the Fat Cat Players, and you know, I've done a couple stints with Keith Sweat and Timothy Wright back in the days, you know. But if you're in a rehearsal and everyone is jubilant, it's all good, and then you have one person that comes in and it's like a blanket has been laid over the whole, no one wants to be around that.
Yep.
Yeah, you got.
Of course, you want to be punctual. You want to do all those things. Of course, that's all obvious. But at the end of the day, it's it's all about being likable. It's all about who wants to be around you. And if no one wants to be around you, you're gonna be sitting at home. Period.
Hey, Adrian. Hey, we can stop it right there. Thank you so much, man, for being the last but not least guest on our our panelists. Man, shouts out to you, brother, taking time out of your schedule, man.
Man, of course, man. We family. Hey, shout outs to all my family, the Tallahassee Nights family, Teresa, Tone, everybody. I love y'all. I miss y'all, man. I can't wait to see y'all. I cannot wait to see you. You understand?
Hey, likewise, man. Hey, Teresa Berger say love you, brother.
Yeah. Love you back.
All right, man. I'll check in with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
All right, guys.
See y'all.
This has been all right, bro. This has been our first online workshop. I'm going to be doing these periodically and try to keep these up, because I think I know it's blessed a lot of people by the messages, and I do believe that people in these positions who are still making it, they may have made it to one goal, but they're still trying to get more. They have a lot to share. They have a lot to share. Tavia, miss you, love you. Tavia is doing some great things there too. So y'all stay tuned. And I want to give a big shout out to K&D Creative Design as my marketing. I say marketing consultant. She did such a phenomenal job. If you want to cash app, you can cash app to it's right there on the screen, Doc D1 right there, and that's just going to help with some of the production going into this, because I would say for the first one, it was very professional. We are also simulcast on YouTube. You can replay it, share it, and it's going to be some more exciting guests that's coming up already lined up. So shouts out to everyone that tuned in. Shouts out to my family and my I don't know if y'all heard my baby boy in the background, but hey, we're gonna keep it organic in this way from the house. And Tim, man, appreciate you so much. So y'all cash out if you can, any amount. It all go to the production and the upkeep of these free online workshops, and we're gonna have some great guests. Even inbox me some suggestions of some guests. Hey, I'd like to hear this person. Even if you would like to be a guest, inbox me and let's talk. And we're gonna do some great things. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.